I was getting tired of looking at hairy-legged guys of the crew, and I noticed that I hadn't had an on-camera love interest, and it was getting a little boring. And so I went to the producers and asked, hey, how about we bring in, a love interest? And it was talked about, and they became a good idea. So they wrote a script. I think Kenny Johnson, who was a very fine one of the producers and writer, wrote a script about Jamie Summers, who was a one-time girlfriend, who was a tennis instructor and all that. And she would have an accident, and then they would they made her into with bionic parts. How the casting of Lindsay Wagner came about was very interesting, because Lindsay actually was under contract to Universal Studios for a while, just prior to this show, and they had dropped her from her contract, and as I understand, and she wasn't too happy about that, and I can understand why. So, but then when they wanted her to do this role, she was in a very good position, because they had to renegotiate a contract with her, and actually she came out with a very big contract when they decided to go to series. If they were going to go to series, she would have a bigger contract, and in fact it was as big as mine. And I'd been working on the show for a couple of years, and so everybody ended up being happy. Of course, there were the crossovers, which I had to do two or three crossovers into her show to help her get it started on the air, and that was really, really difficult when you're doing crossovers, when you're trying to shoot your own show and then bicycling over to another stage to shoot another show, and you kind of figure out, well, where am I in this script? Where am I in her show? And but I had experienced that before when I was doing Owen Marshall, Counselor at Law, and received the script from the original Cyborg. I had to bicycle. I was still shooting Owen Marshall and bicycling over to do the first Cyborg movie. So I had some experience at it, but I knew it was very difficult. So anyway, all the contract disputes were worked out, and Lindsay, it turned out to be just a real sweetheart and a wonderful actress, and we got along great.